Yeah, it's all about entertainment, you know. That's people just want to be entertained. That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Right.
matter if you're like extremely nice or like you're, intermediate. All that really matters is that they just want to be entertained. And I think, you kind of have to really put your personality out there, and make it unique for you. Because if you try to fake it, I feel like it's not gonna come out right. You're not gonna make it. So, run with whatever you have, whatever works for you, whatever is unique to you, and sort of make that the focal point of entertainment. Your people are gonna find you. They're gonna see your videos and they're gonna be like, hey, I really like this.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Mickey and Alexi, and you're watching us here, Autumn Revival on Beyond Static.
All right. Thank you for joining me on Beyond the Static. We have Autumn Revival out of New York today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? Tell us what your role in the band is, how it all got started, how we got from there to here.
Sure. I'm Mickey. I mostly play lead guitar and do vocals. Me and Alexi, we tend to switch off. I'll let him introduce himself, and then we can go into you know how we got started.
Yeah. Well, my name's Alexi, and I do mostly singing, rhythm guitar. But me and Mikey, like he said before, we switch on and off, so we trade parts here and there.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a interesting dynamic, especially I think it's like when you have like two vocalists, and it brings different assets, different skills, different talents, and I think it's really cool. But the way we got started actually was in the summer of 2017. I was like, yo, I'm sitting around, not doing anything with music, and decided to make something happen. So I reached out to some people, in the local music scene, specifically Ronks, a band from the local scene here in the Bronx, and Joshua and Miguel. They were fantastic about helping me take the next steps in making my desire to have a band come into fruition. So they were really the ones that made that happen for us. And then we became sort of a bigger band. Slowly it was just me and Joshua at first from Ronks, and then Alexi joined us, and then Miguel was like, hey, you guys can't find the drummer, like I'll drum for you, and we're like, sweet. And then that's how we got started. We just went from there.
Nice. Wait, so one of your band members is from Ronks as well?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Uh,
funny. It's quite funny actually. The bassist and the drummer, yeah, and even Alexi started, working with Ronks. Originally he was an Autumn Revival, and then he was like, yo, I'll do like guitar stuff for you guys. So then it's so funny because it almost became like one big band, but it's not really. We're different, quite different in our sound. But yeah, a lot of the members are the same. It's funny.
oh, that's crazy. Now it makes sense why the same person reached out to me for both bands. Megan, she had sent me the Christmas song for Ronks, and I had used that on my last episode in 2020. So you got, yeah, definitely been on my radar for quite some time. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on that note, like tell me about what's the scene like where you guys are from. Specifically, I know like Ronks and you guys are, I don't know if all but mostly Hispanic. Like what that to me that's a unique thing, because being a person of color who is into this style of music, like pop punk and emo and all of those things that come with it, it wasn't really I was usually like kind of on my flying solo with a lot of that. So like is the scene where you guys are from, like it seems like people of color is like more, or like more accepted, more like crafting the scene. What's that? Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I feel like definitely where we're from. So like New York City is split into like 5 boroughs. You have the Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island. Especially in the Bronx, rock music isn't really celebrated like that. It's really hard to get a really good gig in the Bronx. Um, but like I would say mostly the underground like rock scene is usually Brooklyn and Queens. A lot of the Manhattan spots are also like just really big venues. So unless you're like packing up places, you probably won't play in Manhattan. But I mean, yeah, definitely in the Bronx, it was kind of hard to get support. You know, there's local things here and there, but especially being Hispanic and then like also being into that music is kind of hard to get support, I feel like sometimes. But it's also like everybody here is very open. So we're, the people who want to help, everyone's always down to do something. So, we just blended, we just made our way into the scene in Brooklyn and Queens. And then before the COVID, we were trying to like bring it to the Bronx as well, and just expand the whole thing.
That's some good insight for like bands trying to get into New York, because I know that like that's a big, especially on the East Coast. It's like at some point, if you want to do big things, you got to go through like New York and like Philadelphia and DC, and New York for itself can seem so daunting, just because, like you said, it's like, where do the small bands play? Like everybody plays in New York.
Yeah,
So so Brooklyn and
that's true.
Queens, keep
Yeah.
that in mind. Up and coming bands, that's where you need to be looking.
Hmm.
um so before we got on, Mickey and I were chatting a little bit about like songwriting and things. Just you said songwriting is hard, and just talking about the difference between learning songs and just and actually writing them yourselves. And I've always been the type to say, like, a musician and an instrumentalist are two different things. Like, you got those people that can play their instruments a million miles an hour flawlessly, and then you have people who can write the songs that actually connect with people. Like,
Yeah.
take me through your thoughts on that.
Oh, definitely songwriting for us personally was, I feel for me especially, it was very, very difficult. Especially being that when you're songwriting in a band, you're collaborating with people, and there's a lot of times you have to make compromise on a certain sound that you're going for, and that goes like for effects, that goes for like placement, like, oh, I think this melody is cool. Oh, well, maybe we could speed this up, or maybe we could slow this down, things like that. Um, and thankfully we're fortunate enough to be able to collaborate in that way. But that is a dynamic that makes songwriting itself very difficult, because it's one thing to come up with a part and be like, you know what, that sounds good, but it's another thing for everyone to agree on it and everyone to like it and everyone to think that it fits the song.
True.
I'll let Alexi add to
Yeah,
that.
please.
Expand on that.
I mean, for me, songwriting, it comes and goes. Like I've been writing music since before we started the whole band and everything. But sometimes it could come in the form of lyrics, or it could come in the form of a certain guitar riff. But definitely, what I like to do is like when I start getting more than one idea going for a certain specific thing, I have to get on it right away. So I have to start, adding parts, recording myself, and then that's really how like I make songs like for the song that we just released, which is called "Was It Something That I Said." That song was made this year, and I think I did the whole thing within the span of like 2 days. I had all the parts, but like the way that I did is that I was hearing all the parts already in my head, and I had to like just go and write it out. Because if I give it a day or two, it leaves. So for me, it comes spontaneous, but sometimes you gotta, especially for lyrics, you gotta sit down and write and count syllables and make sure everything, And at the end of the day, you have to agree with the rest of your bandmates. So it takes a while for it to actually come. But I mean, I love songwriting. So
Um, let's talk a little bit about the single. Was it something I said? I I instantly connected to the content of the song. I speak about it a lot on the podcast. I am an alcoholic. I am a drug addict. I am, about 11 months clean right now. So like all of those things and it's been something that I've been like, you know, trying to get together for a while. Um, so yeah, like I said, I instantly connected to that feeling, and there's almost like the music almost seems like that chaotic like next morning thing of like trying to scramble through and piece together the night before. Was that intentional?
yeah, that's pretty much is exactly what you're saying. We even added like right in the beginning, we have like a whole crowd like in the background, like you can hear it. And it's just kind of like that waking up the next morning kind of thing, and you're trying to recollect what happened, and then so everything's going on, So that's pretty much like how I wrote that song, and I wrote it like pretty much on that experience, like just trying to remember what happened the day before, where you might have like messed something, like you might have said something to someone, and then you're like, damn, I are we still cool, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Is that
Hmm.
something that like, without getting too personal, is that something that you deal with like regularly? Is that like a battle that you've had to go through like I have, or is it just kind of off of like a random experience?
Yeah, it's off of a specific experience, but I mean, other times it's happened is more like damn, I really went the last like 2 days and I don't remember anything, kind of thing. So it's just like sometimes sometimes it's a battle. I feel like especially with playing rock music. I mean, you're always around alcohol and other things, so you got to be careful really to keep yourself in check and make sure you're still about the music. So yeah.
By the
Yeah.
way, I just want to say congratulations on
Yeah, I meant to say
Oh,
that too.
yeah, congratulations,
Mhm.
man. I didn't want to
thank
jump
you.
in and interrupt, but that is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing. Like I said, I'm very open about it. So it's when I hear, specifically bands talk about, you know, substance use or mental health, like I'm immediately like I need to talk to them and like kind of see what's going on, see, because it's something that's very important and it's a message that personally I want to get out to the public, but you know
Yeah,
what it is.
I agree.
Yeah, we have a lot of those messages in our songs. Even the previous songs we've released, Parasite in particular that I released, with the ones that I did vocals on anyway, the lyrics, it's all about, toxicity, in relationships with people, and how that messes with you in your mind, and it's so destructive, So that's definitely always a message that I feel we're always constantly reaching for in our music. And it's not that it's necessarily intentional, but when you go through those things, it's like, how can you not write about something that is so important to you?
Absolutely. Have so I know you started in 2017, and there were three singles that you released prior to. Was it something I
Yeah.
said? Now, is that your full backlog, or are there other like EPs or anything back there, or are there any in the works? Like what's coming up? for you guys?
So I thought Mikey was gonna answer, but yeah.
I'll let you take this one.
So pretty much, yeah, we've had those 3 singles prior to the one we just dropped. We've been making music all the way since 2017, and we actually have an EP that we're gonna announce soon for this upcoming summer. And this would be all the songs that we've been pretty much perfecting up until this time period right now. So a lot of these songs are 2017, but it ranges from 2017 all the way till now. So yeah, that's our next project. Should be actually a group of songs. So we should have an EP coming out soon.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think your scene's gonna look like up there in like Brooklyn, Queens, when everything starts to open up again? I know like Pennsylvania, I think like the end of the month things are gonna start to like open up again with everybody being vaccinated and whatnot. What do you guys see coming in the future?
Oh man, it's gonna be big. I feel like because everything had gotten shut down, now you have like all these like small bands or bands that are just forming, or maybe bands that didn't get a chance to play and to have a platform. And now I think that platform is definitely gonna be there because everyone is just coming back. It's almost like people are starting fresh. I mean, the old connections will always be there, and the love that's there is always gonna be there, but there's gonna be so many new additions, us being one of them, being that we started, at a time where everything was sort of, closing down. So I think it's going to be very explosive. I'm excited for it, honestly.
I feel the same. So have you? So I'm in a project where none of us have all been in the same room at the same time, right? So how do you how do you anticipate like that big rush of shows and everybody like coming back lasting for like months, a year or two, or like is it something where it's like you better get on the ball now and be ready for those things as soon as it opens up or you're going to miss the boat kind of deal?
You better get on the boat. You better, start making your moves, and get ready because it's coming. You got to be ready for it.
Yeah, that seems like it's like you can almost feel it, like that tension just like waiting to release, and just gonna be like shows everywhere, new venues popping up. It's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm hearing a bunch of shows being planned out already for a few months ahead.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on. I feel like this is like a lot of people been, they haven't been able to get into like a gathering, a musical event or anything. So I feel like a lot of people are, they kind of miss it, So I guess when it opens back up, people are going to be more willing to come to shows and everything. And that's not going to last for long because once everything normalizes, it's going to go right back to, I feel like it's going to go right back to where it usually is, which is it's alive, but it's not booming. And like that booming is where you want to be, where everything's happening. Mm-hmm.
Are you have you guys done any like live streams or outside shows or things like that, like social distance shows so far?
Yeah, we have. Not actually. Hold on. When did we do the Ice House Cafe? That was no, that was before. My bad. That was before. Okay, never mind. So no.
Mostly
Yeah,
like
so no, because that was before.
Mostly covers like on our Instagram. We'll go live here and there and we'll play a few covers, few songs, but nothing planned. We haven't planned. We didn't set up a live stream, mostly just for communicating with fans and just like playing whatever.
So let's talk about your fan base. Like, where is it mostly like your local scene still, or do you find that you're having some success, especially being able to like kind of sit back and having no choice but like to turn to like social media and internet? Do you find your fan base like expanding, like further now, or is it still just kind of like the same fans that knew you before are a little more I don't want to say rabid, that's a little more like extra supportive? We'll go there.
Yeah, well,
I think
I
we've.
mean, I
I
feel
think
like,
we've.
oh, you got,
I'll let you answer. I'll let you answer. Go for
oh,
it.
I feel like, especially, I mean, personally, I found that, playing the shows is really where you make those connections when you can actually talk to people after the show. And it's a little harder through social media, though. We've had some success with new things that are going on, especially TikTok is like a monster when it comes to organic feedback and organic views and things like that. So we've been utilizing a lot of things like that, Reels, which is another thing that Instagram is doing to actually compete with TikTok. So then, I mean, they're pushing our stuff like to more viewers and things like that. So things like that are working, but building those foundational, relationships with people, I think it's always going to be on a personal level. So this actually just feel like trying to get shows is still where it's at, because that's where you can actually make fans. I feel it's a little harder online.
So, all right, TikTok seems to be the big thing now. I don't. Maybe it's just because I'm a little bit older. I don't understand like what do you put out there like in order to attract the fans, and or like how do you keep up with content with that? Because like you know, as you said, you have 4 songs out there, right? So
Yeah.
how are you constantly getting getting able to constantly make content around those 4 songs? Because I feel like there's like only so much that you can do unless I'm just
Yeah.
like not thinking outside the box.
I mean, I feel like there's a bunch of things we're actually still trying to experiment with what works and what's not for the algorithm and everything. Um, and I feel like a lot of it's comedy based. So I mean, anything with the song in the background, a skit or something, I feel like always blows up. But we're still testing the waters with that because it's a little different. We've had some success with the Instagram version of TikTok, but TikTok itself, not too much success, but we're still working on it.
They just want to be entertained. And I think, you kind of have to really put your personality out there, and make it unique for you. Because if you try to fake it, I feel like, it's not gonna come out right. You're not gonna make it. So, run with whatever you have, whatever works for you, whatever is unique to you, and sort of make that the focal point of entertainment. People are, your people are gonna find you. They're gonna see your videos and they're gonna be like, hey, I really like this,
Yeah. Do you find it hard too, like sometimes, because like I think about sometimes I want to say some things. That's why I did my last interview was with my best friend, just to like put more of my personal like thoughts and things out there. Do you find that you have to be like extra careful with that kind of thing just because of like the nature of the environment that we're in now, and just worrying about people going back and saying, oh, this is what they stand for, when it's like not necessarily. Do you understand does
Yeah,
that make
yeah.
sense what I'm asking?
The whole cancel culture thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But nowadays, especially online, once you put out a video, it's pretty much there forever. Even if you take it out, someone would have seen it or someone would have saved it. So I mean, I feel like not just for especially I think for local bands, I feel like you should watch out what you're doing, because some of those things, if you gain some success later on, can come back and ruin your future endeavors or whatever. But I mean, for us, yeah, we try to be as authentic as possible, but like, and make sure that we're not offending anyone pretty much. But because these days, I mean, I personally, me, just feel like everyone's super sensitive when the scene is supposed to be free. The scene is supposed to be, you know, just, fuck it, pretty much. Part of my words, but
You're
supposed to
allowed to
be,
cuss here.
like supposed
You're
to
allowed
be
to cuss here.
free, full of, okay, cool. It's supposed to be free, and full of self-expression, and like, the people that get it, it's not for everyone. So that's why I feel like it kind of sucks. It's super sensitive, but I mean, we work with what we got. So
Yeah.
I think I would say like you can take it too far in either direction because there's people that are just too like, yo, you need to relax, and then there's people that are just like too like overly defensive, you know. So I think it's definitely about finding balance within yourself, within your community, within the scene, you know, and just exploring that. Also because you know we're all human and we're all learning. So someone says something, you know, maybe it was taken out of context, or maybe you know, they're still learning from that. And I think correction is necessary. Um, but there's a difference between correcting someone and destroying them. You know what I mean? So I say at the end of the day, for me, everyone's human. We're all learning, you know, and just keep moving forward, you know.
Right. Um. Do you, how do I phrase this? Do you guys feel the need to disassociate yourself from other bands that have been quote unquote canceled, even if they've played like a major part in your influence, or like they were a big influence of yours coming up? Um, you know, like a brand new, for example, or like a I the Mighty or Pierce the Veil, just in like bands like that.
I think that's an interesting question. I'm not sure how to answer it because I'm really not sure. I think it really like it depends on the situation. I think that's something that you would take by a case basis because you're like, okay, well, what happened? You know, of course you want to know. You know, it's like and kind of draw your own conclusions from it. You know, think for yourself type of thing. But yeah, that's a very difficult question to answer. I'm not sure I can give like a very definitive answer just because it's like I think it'd be case by case basis sort of thing.
Alex, you have anything on that?
I mean, you said about dissociating yourself from people who've been canceled, right?
Yeah, and just
Or
like
quote
even
unquote.
acknowledging as far as like acknowledging that they've had any like influence on your music or
Got you. I mean, me personally, like I would say sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry.
Hey, the
there's a
cat,
cat.
sushi. Yeah.
Cat's name is Sushi.
Yeah, his name's Sushi.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Bring
but
the cat back
I
up.
would say I wouldn't I mean I would just admit, like, obviously, you know, you take, I would say just say what it is, you know, like let's pretend, you know, R. Kelly or whatever. I personally didn't have any influence by him, but if I did, I just acknowledge that, you know, that I liked his earlier music, you know. And if you're looking at things very on a plain level with no kind of, you know, no feelings involved, his, you know, musically, he's there. Now, whatever else he's doing or whatever else he has or has the legend of doing is something else, you know. Of course,
Right.
you're not going to support that, but you can at least acknowledge, you know, the art or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
I
Yeah.
guess I guess it's almost a little bit like you're saying, like to some extent, you know, just the acknowledgement of what they've done. But because you know, there's a lot of bad people. There really is within the
Right.
scene. It's always going to
Yeah.
be there. It's always going to be there. It's just a matter of whether or not people are outed for certain things or things of that nature. And there's always going to be good people, you know. So you're always going to get a mix, and it's very gray.
Let's get back to this question just popped into my head. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I don't do a lot of research. Like I just kind of like read the press releases and then just have conversations. And
Yeah.
it usually works out, like comes out more authentic that way, in my opinion. But
Yeah,
what?
I definitely feel your vibe. You flow. It's very fantastic. Like you're great. You're great at this.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. What's one song that you guys can't wait to play live? What's one song that you're just like, this is gonna kill them?
You know what? We have this song, All That I Am, All That I Am. I'm really excited for that one. It's gonna be in the new EP, so we'll see.
Nice.
I think people are gonna really like it though.
Any insights
And
on
What
like a
about you,
little bit
Alexi?
what's that about?
All that I
So
am. You want to tell
oh
them?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I wrote that song, lyric, at least for the lyrics and like chord structures, and then Mikey added lead guitar, and obviously the rest they added their instruments. So this song is really about my personal struggle with my passion for music, and I feel like it's something that we can all relate to, which is why I feel like we all really like this song. It's just about the struggle between trying to get a normal job to like pay the bills, but then also trying to keep your passions, and trying to find that balance, and almost even quitting. So it's just kind of like an artistic struggle, that I feel like all artists have, at some point. They feel like giving up, but they don't feel like it's working, and so you try all these things, and it's almost like the song itself is like a dialogue between me and music. So I feel like a lot of artists can relate to that one.
Bro, I'm already feeling that song like in my soul. I haven't heard a single note yet. So mentioned Pierce the Veil earlier, and I was curious because honestly, I haven't had a chance to listen to like your backlog. I just kind of listened to the single when it was sent to me. Um, I've noticed that a long time ago that they put a lot of their cultural influences like kind of pop up in their songs sometimes, and like um their like Mexican heritage. I don't know where yours all come from, but do you guys find yourself throwing some of those influences into, some of your guitar lines and stuff like that, where it just kind of like comes out and you're just like, all right, I see where these guys are coming from. like does that happen for you at all? Do you guys make a
It's so
conscious
funny that you
effort to
bring
do
that up
that?
because I don't think that we have yet, but we definitely wanted to start incorporating that. We were actually planning to do a song in Spanish, because we do speak Spanish. We're both Mexican and Dominican, me and Alexi. So we're thinking, hey, let's do a song in Spanish. We've been thinking it for a while now. So
Yeah.
eventually that'll come out and stuff. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely looking to incorporate it more in our music, but it's not something that we ever do intentionally unless we feel like it's something that is happening sort of organically, and it feels like this is something we want to explore, sort of thing.
Right, that makes sense. Another band I can think of on that like kind of plane is like Dance Gavin Dance. Like Will is like the main driving force, and like you can see like the jazz and the R&B come out a lot. And like I know that me growing up in so I grew up mostly in the 90s was most of my childhood. So like that 90s R&B and early 2000s emo is like they are my main wheelhouses. So like
Golden.
I can hear that shit come through like anything. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, I see you throwing that little R&B in there.
Yeah, definitely. I love when that happens too with artists where they have their own, they have their own. Like you can tell when a song is made by someone, or you could tell like how he's gonna sing it. That's a specific thing. That's kind of what something we trying to do, trying to get that signature sound. So then when someone hears a song, they can be like, wait, that sounds like Autumn.
Yeah.
So I definitely, I really appreciate artists who have that their own, and I think that's what makes a good artist when they have that their own sound. All their influences mix up pretty much.
Who are some of your bigger influences? Like known or unknown?
Mikey, you ready?
For me personally, well, for me personally, 3 Days Grace, Flyleaf are like the two. I'm not gonna say they were. I'll probably say they had the most impact on my life, but not necessarily musically. Musically, oh man, I'm not even sure. I think it just ranges so far and so wide. And my music tastes have changed a lot. Before I would listen to like a lot of Hailstorm, Arch Enemy, things of that nature, and now I listen to a lot more pop punk because of starting this band with these guys. Punk is like their main thing, with Josh and Miguel from Bronx, and even Alexi. They were very big on punk. And growing up, I was more of a hard rock and metalhead sort of person all my life. And then I eventually started to like listen to their music, and it definitely expanded my taste by a lot. And I think that really, really shows in this type of stuff that I begin to write. My writing style has changed a lot from what it was, and I think it's for the best, honestly.
Got anything to add to that, Alexi?
Yeah. Well, my tastes are a little bit different. I've never really been a metalhead, to be honest. Like, I like metal riffs and things like that. So I think that's kind of cool. Something that Mikey adds different, because he really likes his metal. He likes his distortion. Where I like a lot of lo-fi, kind of like indie, but I still like my distortion and punk and stuff like that. So I listen to, like, over the years, like growing up, listen to a bunch of Nirvana and My Chemical Romance, Taking Back Sunday, Tyler the Creator too. I grew up with a lot of his music. Just pretty much every album after Bastard. So Goblin, and then every album after that, pretty much listen to Tyler the Creator on my way to school, like every day. What else? Have a lot of I listen to like a lot of Lil Uzi and other rap artists too. So it's just like, for me, it's just a bunch. I guess musically, mostly like the early 2000s kind of like bands. That's really musically, that's where I draw from. But the other ones are just kind of like very influential to me.
It's funny that you bring up the hip hop too, because I grew up listening, 50 Cent, The Game, things like that. Even Spanish rappers and oldies too. It went like rapping, oldies, metal, and then, or like hard rock, metal, and then finally pop punk. And that's been like my my weird sort of flow through music, but also synth pop and stuff like that. I recently got into in the past couple of years.
So, is there anything that we haven't touched on that you guys definitely think that the world should know about upcoming plans, your band in general, or just your personality, what you guys believe in? Just anything we haven't touched on that you want to that you really want to get out there.
I just want to say thanks to the people that have been supporting us so far. It means a lot. It literally means everything to have, your fans and people supporting you. And, it always starts out with like friends and family, but then, it expands. And now, people that we don't even know that will be like, man, I really like your music, or they see us play and they come up to us. And that's always so like greatly appreciated. That really means everything to us. So I just want to say thanks, man.
Same.
All right.
I'm like waiting for you to add something.
All right,
I'm
me
just
too.
waiting for you to like, I just want I don't know, like in terms of like the band, I just want everyone to know that, we're very serious about our music, at least in my personal experience. Like, this is like what I love to do the most. So like, it's never work, and it's just people connecting with it. It's the best reward of itself and on its own. Like, eventually every band wants to get paid for their work and everything, but honestly, just connecting with people is the best. So I just want whoever is listening to this podcast, just give Autumn Revival a chance. Just take a listen to it, 1 or 2 songs, and I bet you'll stick around.
Awesome.
I can play crazy stuff behind my head. Come see us live. I do live. I'll play like the most complicated thing that I can muster behind my head.
All right, Claudio.
So stop by a show one day. Stop by
I
a show
see
one day. We want to entertain you.
just grow that long luscious hair and throw some real high pitch vocals on
it's
there.
It's going out right now.
All right.
His hair is crazy.
if you keep playing crazy stuff behind your head, you're gonna have to write a comic book and base all of your songs off of that from now on.
That'd be dope.
All right. Well, tell the world where they can find you all on social media, online, where to find the song, all of those fun things.
Yeah, well, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Deezer, pretty much wherever you listen to music. We're on YouTube too. We release all our music videos through YouTube. So you can add us on Instagram at autumn_revival, and everything else, same name, Autumn Revival. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're on Twitter too. We have a Linktree link up there. I believe it's still up there. So you just click on it, you should see everything.
Nice. All right. Well, I want to thank Autumn Revival for joining me. Hopefully we get to talk again soon, or maybe at a live show. I can't wait till I can take this thing and do some live show interviews. So that'd be dope.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, if you guys are coming down to Philly, let me know.
Let's do it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's great talking to you. Thanks for having us on. You're a great host, and you're definitely good at what you do. I can see it. You're doing a great job, dude. So thanks for having us.
All right, thank you.